Representative Kawasaki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to talk just a little bit about the bills, the changes that were made during the conference committee, and start with just one statement that folks know I'm a frugal guy. We were just cleaning the house the other day, and I've got a drawer full of aluminum foil pieces that I've saved over the time so that I could reuse them at a future time. People on this floor also know that I started my kid's college fund in hopes that she would someday go to college when I was about 22. And for folks that know, they know I don't have any kids. So I'm a planner. I like to plan ahead. I like to ensure that my budget is tight and smart, and that it provides for generations in the future, Mr. Speaker. This is a bill that starts to address that. It starts to address that in one critical way, and so I just say that I'd like to support the concept in that it says that we will preserve the earnings reserve at a minimum of 5.25% for the next 3 years, and another 5% in year 4. However, Mr. Speaker, I need to let folks know why I'm going to be opposed to this bill today in the conference committee report today. And it's clear, Mr. Speaker, that the other body has a different intent in what should move forward. And if I could just read briefly out of the fiscal note from Senate Bill 26 as it entered this body.
Representative Kawasaki.
Mr. Speaker, this legislation would set up a dividend amount of $1,000 for the next 3 years with the percent of market value set at 5.25% of the value of the permanent fund. In fiscal year 2021, that's 3 years from now, the percent of market value would reduce to 5%, and the dividend payout would be calculated at 25% of the percent of market value draw. Mr. Speaker, that's a smaller permanent fund dividend than I think people, Alaskans, are wishing for. The permanent fund dividend, as many people know, lifts people out of poverty. According to the Institute of Social and Economic Research, between 15...
Representative Kawasaki, I'm going to ask you to direct your comments to the changes between the two measures. And I think I heard comments a moment ago that seemed to reflect the earlier version, which is on par with the rules which allow members to speak between the changes that come before the body in terms of the eventual vote to concur or not to concur.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we've put in place for the last 35 years a way to pay out both for government services, the things like education, like public safety, roads, rails, runways, from the earnings. We have also designated, since 1982, 35 years ago, the way we should also construct our permanent fund dividends. What is offered here today as a conference committee substitute is a significant departure from that. And if I can just read briefly, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Kawasaki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a memorandum written in April 17th in 1979 from then Senator Clem-Tillion, to Senator Clem-Tillion from Governor Hammond at the time. And I'll just paraphrase just one part. 50% of the income returned to the general fund, 50% of income for specific programs as designated by the legislature, such as guarantees for hydro projects.
Representative Kawasaki, and I'm going to enforce this with all members who choose to speak. Please speak to the concurrence, the changes in the two measures, and I'm going to ask members not to be too lengthy in their comments relative to the history of the permanent fund or this bill, but in the interest of going forward in a reasonable period of time. Representative Kawasaki.
Thank you for the indulgence. Just that this conversation was that there should be a recognition that dividends should be paid to Alaskans. We are changing this process while the same existing process works in there and is part of law and will remain part of law and remain part of statute. We're not changing that. We are adding to statute, which I fear that that is the way that this 31st legislature, the next legislature after us, will take our actions today. I think this is the beginning of the end of the permanent fund dividend, and I feel that I can't support this measure before us without some assurances that a permanent fund dividend will be paid out. Mr. Speaker, I think that furthermore, the changes in this bill, which again change the way that government is funded in the general fund, that those changes will set up a future legislature to be in fiscal chaos. They won't understand what is really meant to go forward when it comes to a permanent fund dividend. I think I know clearly what the other body had in mind. I don't know what this body has in mind, but I can't support the changes made by the conference committee, and I will be a no vote on changing the permanent fund payout. Thank you.